Hello, this is TJR. Singer-songwriter, musician, Daniel Johnston has passed away. He was 58 years old. If you're a fan of his music and you've clicked onto this channel for the very first time, welcome. I definitely want to say a few words about his music and about his passing. I also want to use this video to address the regular subscribers to this channel who may not necessarily be familiar with his music but are curious to find out more. Now, in case you are unfamiliar, Daniel Johnston has been described as an outside singer-songwriter. And he has been regarded as a significant figure in the outsider, lo-fi, and alternative music scenes. I want to state that being an outsider music artist is different from being an independent music artist. An independent music artist works within the music industry but doesn't sign to a label, preferring to control that part of their career themselves. An outsider music artist is a complete outsider who, by and large, takes no part in the music industry. During his early days, most of his work consisted of cassettes recorded alone in his home that he passed out in public. And oftentimes the level of technology used to record these early recordings was a cassette deck sitting in his home. But it was through this process of handing out tapes in public that he eventually became discovered by critically acclaimed music artists like Tom Waits, Yo La Tengo, and Bright Eyes, who have covered his songs. Wayne Coyne of the Flaming Lips said of his music, "There's definitely some absolutely pure emotional thing that happens in his songs." And that's what I feel especially when I listen to his lo-fi recordings. He's not this perfect musician. He's not a perfect singer. And some of his best-known recordings were done on a cassette deck in his home. But when he is at his best, and what I find personally astounding, is that when he does express an emotion through his music, he is able to cut through all those limitations. As I was writing this, I was listening to some of his top tracks on Tidal, and one particular song entitled "The Story of an Artist" came on, and the melancholy of that song's story cut so eloquent into me that I had to just stop writing and I had to just sit there and listen. Daniel Johnston struggled with manic depression and schizophrenia for most of his adult life, and this aspect of his life was documented in the 2005 documentary entitled "The Devil and Daniel Johnston," which is how I first discovered his music. And this movie is a documentary that I thoroughly recommend that you watch. Sadly, and like a lot of troubled artists, his emotional difficulties does sometimes play into how you might experience his music. For those of you who might be hearing about him for the first time through this video, I realize that his music is not, and especially his very lo-fi recordings, not necessarily for everybody. There are those who do need to hear their music professionally produced and performed before they can start to appreciate it. But if that's not a requirement, I recommend that you go to your streaming service of choice, be it Tidal, Apple Music, or Spotify, find his artist profile, and sample some of his top tracks. Daniel Johnston's passing was, of course, due to multiple health problems, his mental health problems notwithstanding. It's sad that we've lost him, and if you're a fan of his music and you're familiar with it, please in the comments leave your own remembrances and experiences with his music. And for those of you who might be hearing about him for the first time through this video, I hope that you take the chance to listen to some of his music, and perhaps at a later time, try watching the documentary that was made about his life and his music. Daniel Johnston, rest in peace, and everybody, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.